Hey everyone, welcome back and let's write some more Leetcode today. So today let's solve the problem, count number of bad pairs. The idea is that we're given an array of integers and we could pick any two elements in the input and they count as a pair. Now the only thing they mean by this is, well, first of all, that these have to be two different elements, like they have to have different positions for them to actually count as a pair. And also they say here that I has to be less than j. The only reason they mention that is because they don't want you to double count a pair. For example, if we say this is I and this is j, this counts as one pair. But if we were to put j here and then I over here, which is not allowed based on this condition, it's technically the exact same pair. It's just this is the first element and this is the second element. That's why they mention that. So we care about the distinct pairs. We're not going to double count the same pair. And it counts as a bad pair if and only if this condition is satisfied. And it's kind of hard to read because it's cut off here. But basically, let's say this is I and this is j. We take the difference of the two indices. So what's the distance between these two elements? It happens to be 1. And then we take the difference of the two elements. And not the absolute value, but we actually take the difference of the two elements. So the element on the right is going to be subtracted from it. We're going to take the element on the left. So 3 minus 1, that's going to be 2. So in this case, you can see that the difference of the elements is 2, but the distance between them is just 1. So those two values are not equal. So this then counts as a bad pair. Based on that, we want to return the total number of bad pairs. So the total number of bad pairs is pretty trivial to get. We could do that with two nested loops. It would be an n-squared solution. We would just go through every possible pair. So we could try to take that brute force idea of perhaps fixing our I pointer here, and then j can go through everything here for us to get all the bad pairs starting at this element. And then we could do that from here. We could try to identify some kind of repeated work. It's not going to be trivial for this problem though. I tried a few different ideas in my own head. Most of them did not really lead to the solution, but here's a little bit of intuition I can give you. Here's a hint I can give you. Can you think of any kind of pre-processing that we could do on this? It feels like it's definitely possible, but it's hard to actually figure out what that should be. Now, if I take this array and turn it into a picture, it becomes much easier to realize what the optimal solution can be. That's what I'll do for you, but a little bit more of the intuition. Let's see what a good pair actually looks like. In this example, we do have one good pair. We have this and this. So the distance between these two is 2, and the difference between these elements is also 2. Thus, it's a good pair. So I think that's the only good pair in this input. If we count the total number of pairs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 total pairs. We have one good pair. If we get rid of that good pair, then we have 5 pairs remaining, which are all bad pairs. And that's the solution to this first example. So this is one of the ideas I'm actually going to use to solve this problem optimally. Think of it this way. We have this big circle, which counts as all of the good pairs. Or rather, sorry, this is all the total pairs. If we have one bad pair somewhere in here and I were to get rid of that, then everything that is left over is going to be the good pairs. And I guess in this problem, what we're specifically looking for is the bad pairs themselves. And in this problem, it's actually easier, in my opinion, to get the total number of good pairs and also to get the total number of pairs and then just take the difference between them, which will give us the number of bad pairs. So that's what I'm going to do as well. So now let me briefly explain why this problem isn't trivial to solve, and then let me show you how you can solve it optimally. At first, I thought this problem could be solved by just collecting all of the continuous sequences together. This is what I mean by that. Imagine if we started with 3 arbitrarily, and then the next element is 4, and then the next element is 5, and then it's 6. That's good, because notice how all of these are in a sequence, they're consecutively increasing by 1 every single time. That's very convenient because then we can say, okay, well, 3, it forms a good pair with this, and this guy. And this guy forms a good pair with this and this. And 5 forms a good pair with the next one. They're all kind of continuous. They're all a part of the good pairs. But the sequences are actually not required, and that's one of the things that makes this problem hard. Imagine if I started at 3 and then the next element is a 2. Well, then I might say that it's not possible for me to form a sequence or a good pair with 3 and with 2 And naively, I might say, okay, well, I don't need to ever count any more good pairs with 3. I can just stop. And if I have 2 pointers, I can just move the next pointer to the next element and then just never consider this ever again. That's also bad because consider this. Imagine if the next element over here was a 5. I don't really know when I'm at this 3. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's coming up next. But these 2 elements, they are 2 spaces away from each other. And the difference in these 2 elements is also 2. And so thus, they do form a good pair. So that's why this problem isn't trivial to solve with like a sliding window or a 2-pointer technique or something like that, but we can get a little bit more clever. Let me draw the picture that'll probably answer most of your questions. I'm going to put these elements and I'm going to draw them on like an X and Y axes. So the y-axis is going to be the value itself, and the x-axis is going to be the index. So let's say 0 to 4. So this is where 4 is, and then next we have 1. So I'll put 1 over here, and then next we have 3. That's going to be over here, and then next we have 3 again, which is going to be over here. So basically what we want to do is for every single one of these points, imagine if there was a line running through that point and the slope of that line happens to be 1. So you have this line here and the slope is 1. You have another line running through this point. The slope is 1, so the line might be something like this. So all the lines are technically going to be parallel. So now you tell me, how do we figure out which points make good pairs? Probably the ones that are on the same line. So the idea of sequences that I was talking about earlier is somewhat related to the solution of the problem. We are going to kind of be bucketing these points together into groups, and we're going to do that with a hash map. So I want to group all of these points together in a hash map. I want to group all of these points and all of these points together in a hash map as well. Okay, so now we are almost at the solution. I'm just going to cover a couple of quick things. One is how are we going to get the total number of pairs? Next is going to be how are we going to use this hash map to get the total number of good pairs? And then after we have those totals, it's going to be pretty easy to arrive at the final number. So in terms of total number of total pairs, think of it this way. We could probably calculate it with a formula, but it's actually pretty easy to do it with a loop as well. When we have just a single element, this is at index 0, we can't really form any pairs with just a single element, but then we have the next element, which is at index 1. This element can form exactly 1 pair with the previous element. Next element is at index 2. This element can form 2 pairs with this element or with this element, so 2 new pairs. So all you have to do to get the total number of pairs is just add up all of the indexes, and that'll give the pairs to you. Similarly, to get the total number of good pairs, it's not too difficult. We just have to find a way to group these points together in one group and all of these points in a separate group, etc., so we can count the number of points on each line, the total number of points in each group. So if we could do that, it'd be pretty easy to get the total number of good pairs. There's probably multiple ways to do it. One way is like this. For this point, its slope, if you calculate it from like 0 origin, it's going to be the same as any other point. They're all going to have the exact same slope from the origin. So to get that number, you can just take the n value and divide it by the index. Basically, the math I'm doing here is n divided by index is equal to slope. If all of them have the same slope, the slope could be a fraction. If we don't want to have to deal with these fractions, we could also do it differently. We could take the number itself and subtract from it the index that it's at, because we expect these lines to have a slope of 1. So if you were to take like this value 1 minus the index it's at 1, and then you were to move here just like 2 spots over, we would expect that the height increased by 2 as well. So this is 3 and the index is 3, I believe. So if you do 3 minus 3, it's also 0, which is the same as this guy. But anyways, assuming we have that, assuming that we can put these into separate groups, so like we'd have 2 points in this group, and then we'd have 1 point in a separate group, and then we'd have another 1 point in the last group. How are we going to use these groups to actually count the total number of good pairs? Here's how it's going to work. When we first see this point, it's going to be a group of size 1. Can't form any pairs with just 1. But when we have the second element, we can form a single pair with it. So before we actually increment this value to 2, we're going to take the original value that was here and add it to our total number of good pairs. This will allow us to aggregate the total number of good pairs. and then we can calculate the total number of bad pairs after that. I think I've probably talked enough. The code's going to be pretty easy, so let me just show that to you. It should be a linear solution and linear space. Okay, so we're going to total up the total number of good pairs as well as the total number of pairs. I can just show you how to get this count because it's pretty easy. We'll just go like this for I in range, length, and then we'll just keep taking the index and adding it to the total number of pairs. We'll also get the total number of good pairs, and then this is what we will end up returning. Total pairs subtracted from that, the good pairs. Now for us to do that, we're going to need a data structure. It's going to be a hash map. This is going to be the count or the groups I was talking about. I'm going to make it a default dictionary, and the default value will be an integer. So this is what we're going to do. For this value I, the value at nums of I, so this value here, nums at I, we want to find which group it belongs to. And the easiest calculation to do that is to take the number and subtract from it I. So this will put it into a unique group. And so we want to take the count of that, and we want to increment it by 1. So we want to do this, count of this, add to it 1. But right before we do this, we actually want to update the total number of good pairs as well. So this is how it's going to work. Add to it the original value that was here before we incremented it. So if that was a 0, that would be fine, because if we just had one element in that group, we can't form any pairs with it anyway. So 0 would be the correct value to add here so that the total number of good pairs does not change. If now we are incrementing it to be 2, right before we set it to 2, we should take the original value there, which is 1, and add that to the number of good pairs. So that's like the intuition. Let's go ahead and run this code now. You can see here it works. It's pretty efficient. You can see that the other solutions are like only 20 milliseconds faster. So if you found this helpful, check out Leetcode.io for a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.